Hey guys, I'm back and today I'm going to be teaching you on how to make Mjölnir. I'm luckily worthy of Mjölnir so I can wield it, and I bet you are too, so let's show you how to become worthy of Mjölnir and how to make it. So throughout the video first I'll be showing you the blueprints, which you can use. The blueprints are just able to give you measurements and sizing just so everything's proportional and it works. Then I will be just saying the process of going through it and then also how to build it properly. But first you're going to need your supplies, which are some cardboard, pencil, ruler, scissors, paint, and hot glue. There are other things you're going to need, but I'll go into more details about later, but those are the main things you're going to need. Right here we have the blueprints. As you can see right here, I have the numbers just so I can, when I'm explaining where each part goes, you can come back here and you'll know exactly which parts I'm talking about. Inside the objects are numbers, and those numbers replicate how much of these pieces you're going to need. So for example, the first part only needs 4. The second one needs 2 though, and these need 8. And then obviously you can tell the ones above and next to it are the measurements. I'll let you take a photo of this, write this down if you want. If you need to, you can change it up a bit. As you can see though, there are a few without measurements. These are because it depends on your gluing, and if you add it a bit more, it all depends on how big it becomes, and you kind of have to wing it at the end. So the first thing you want to do is get a large piece of cardboard and get your pencil and ruler and then measure out everything. Get the ruler, and for example, the first part, it was 4 3/4 inches to 8 inches. So that's what you'll do. You get the ruler, you put it next to it, line it. My advice, make sure you double check just so you don't mess up everything. And then once you get, you might want to draw all the pieces out and then cut it, or just draw one piece, then cut it and repeat the process. But that's going to take some time, so make sure you're patient with it so it's not sloppy, because in the end, it is going to make the actual Mjölnir. Now, once you have everything cut out, which could, like I said, take a while, it might take a day or two, you want to get your paint out. My advice would be, maybe if you have gray paint, that's easy, that's simpler. I don't have gray paint, so I just mix black and white and then got a photo and then tried my best to resemble it. So you just want to paint everything. You don't have to paint both sides because the other side's not going to be visible, so you can save paint that way. Now, once you finish painting, you got to make sure everything's dried. You do not want anything wet, because then it's going to look splotchy and it's not going to look pretty. So then you can actually start the building process. My advice before you start building is there's a few pieces you might want to leave out. For example, I didn't do this part till the very end because I didn't know how big this was going to be until after I had it, and then that's when I decided it. And the same thing with the triangles. I didn't know what size the triangles are going to be, what shape, until after I finished gluing everything. So next, you want to let's start assembling now. My best place to start would be the top, just because it's simpler. And then down here, you can see the handles inside of it, so it's going to be one of the last things I would advise to do. So you get your first piece and you add it here, and then you would get the longest piece, which was number 4 on my paper, and you glue it here on the longest side. My advice, in the photos of Mjölnir with Thor, it was slightly angled, so you want to add it, make sure it's slightly angled. It would, unless you don't want to, obviously. And then part 3 goes over here, as well as slightly angled. Now, once you have those parts, make sure it's completely dry. My advice would be to glue it from like on top, and then maybe glue it from the inside. Just add some extra hot glue just to be safe so it doesn't fall apart, but make sure you're careful with the hot glue because you don't want to burn yourself. Now you have the whole part, a little bit of the top part ready. This is all about preference now. you can either start with these sides, you can glue these on, or you can glue these pieces back. But my advice would be to, or maybe you can do these pieces first and then this. This all depends, but you don't want to add this first. That's what I'm saying. You can add this, then go here, then here, and just kind of like travel around, or you can do the bigger pieces and then these. It's all preference. What I did was I just added the biggest piece first, then I added these, and then I added these. It's all, like I said, preference. Now, before I did anything, I got an X-Acto knife, which I didn't use, my dad did, and I cut a circle out just for this. To make the whole handle, I did use a paper towel roll. And then I painted it a darker brown. I'll explain how to do like these parts later. And so now what you want to do is you want to add, like I said, the sides again, part 4 and part 3, and then you want to add this. Or it might be simpler for you is to do what you did at the very beginning and had these and then just connect them. It's all, like I said, preference. And now, before you do it, let's say this. By the way, before you glue this in, make sure the handle's attached because you want to glue it from the inside as well. It's gonna make it easier for you so you don't have to be like, when you're like spinning around and defeating bad guys, it doesn't fall off because that would be pretty awkward. But before I would advise to paint it as well and do all like paint it, but I didn't add the ridges like he has until after it because I did this while I have more stability, but also don't forget to add a bottom part. Okay, now that we have everything, I'm sorry if that sounds a little complicated, but now that you have the main structure of it, the final thing you do is the triangles that go in the corner, because as you can see, these don't connect. Nothing connects. So there will be these huge open things, and you don't want that. You want it to look fancy. So it's a little bit harder, but what I try to do is I just like got paper and then cardboard. I made like a square and then I cut it around. It was a bit complicated. And then I just glued it, and they're also down here, by the way. I just want to make sure you know that. You paint them, and then you glue them. Then you're done. You have this piece, and you are now officially worthy of Mjölnir. Now, you might have some preference, about how you want to build this. For example, if you ever look at the photos, on like the sides, he has like these weird little like squiggles, which I didn't add because I'm not that good at adding those, and I would have made it look really weird. But so mine is a bit more plain Jane, but you can add those little little squiggles that he has. And then another thing which I did was I had a bunch of styrofoam and I stuffed it in the handle so that my grip wouldn't crush it, because it would allow it to stay a bit stronger and then just have some stability. And you want to do this before you just get like a wooden spoon or a long ruler and you just shove it in and try to add as much as possible, and then once you're done you glue it. So that's how you build Mjölnir. I hope you the best of luck at defeating your bad guys, and now you're worthy. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I'll respond if something in the video didn't explain it. Have a good weekend, guys.